Hi friends. I have another quick little video for you. I'm actually sitting at my desk having some coffee. Let me pan over so you can see my cup of coffee right there. So I'm having some coffee and then I saw this random pile of notebooks that I have on my desk. So I was like, let me just talk a little bit about this pile. It's a little random, but I love all the colors. And I guess if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I love color. Um, but of course, it's gotta be tasteful, not just like, you know, random color. Um, and I think I'm gonna talk about this. This is well, I guess I'm already talking about it. So this was a little sample notebook, I guess, from an order I put in with Taroko shop on Etsy. Yeah, Taroko design. So they sent this little sample notebook with my order. So I use that just randomly here and there. It's not like a dedicated notebook. But I just realized I have this beauty in front of me. And I should probably talk about it too because it's pretty neat. It's one of my favorite items. Um, I don't know if a lot of you know here on YouTube, but I started my own stationery shop. And when I say my own, I mean I own it, but I don't make any of the things that I sell. So I represent several lines, mainly Latin American brands. And I think right now, most, like all of them, are Mexican brands. But anyway, my goal is to branch out and have brands from South America and even like here from the States, or any other country. It's just I just want to showcase brands that are not very widely known. So yeah, anyway, so this is by the brand Blue Star Crafts, and they make some amazing things. And they sent me this as a personal gift, which they also sell this, but they gifted me this box. So this is my personal one. Um, and look at that. So the first thing they came out with was a small ink sample set, which holds 5 of these ink vials. And then after that, they came out with this, uh, what do they call it? Pen and sample box, I believe. So you're able to fit 3 pens. It comes with, what is this? Like a bookmark type of thing? I believe so. This seems to be like a velvety material. And by the way, sorry if you guys hear my puppy snoring. He's underneath me snoring away. Ink sample. So you have this space right here to label, and I love that it's already like not, would you say engraved? I'm not sure how you would call that. But anyway, so you have a spot for each ink that you choose to put in here, and you lift this up. Oops. And you can, it's got like 2 or 3 other refills, but then you can just put in your own paper back there, right? So I think that's wonderful that they did that because it allows you to continue using this as much as you want. And it comes with a little baby eyedropper, so you can, let's say you're at a pen meeting, like a pen meetup or whatever, and you want to sample one of your other friends' inks. Well, then you just grab a little bit, put it in your ink vial, and then just label that what it is. And then now you have 3 samples. And you're able to fit 3 pens. Now I'm able to fit a Twisby, which I was really curious about because it's a very, in a way, standard pen. But if it's okay, I did move all the clips to the side so that way they wouldn't be facing up and then bumping into the cover. But I would stick to just a little bit of thinner pens. But I don't think you're, well, you could probably fit another Twisby over here, but you wouldn't be able to fit three uh, side by side. But yeah, that is this little guy, and it's got this little cord so that this doesn't go flapping all the way to the back. It's wonderful. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is like an MDF material with a walnut veneer finish. So it's super, super, super smart, super beautiful product. And I can take this out and relabel it, which I should. At least like call it Amarillos, the name of my store is Amarillo Stationery, by the way. So I should probably put Amarillo Stationery here. Oh yeah, 3-pan and sampler box. That's what this is called. So it's beautiful, and it lives on my desk because it looks pretty, and it will look pretty on any desk. So anyway, I'm gonna put that over to the side. And let me start with some books. And I just love the color story I have going on right here. It just, in my head, it makes sense to me. So this is a soft cover, I guess limited or special edition notebook that they came out this year. 2022 Pride Limited Edition, created in Mexico City by I Make Notebooks. I Make Notebooks is the brand behind Apuntes. So yeah, I saw this on their Instagram and I immediately fell in love with it. They have this spine, and then another one in a I think it's a blueberry color, so I think it's this color if I'm not mistaken. But I just love the look of it. I love, like I said, yellow is my favorite color, so this is just right up my alley. And the paper is dotted. So I went ahead and claimed one for me, but I've yet to use it. So it just lives here on my desk for now. This is that same notebook, but in one of their standard designs. So this is the one that I use for my notes. For Amarillo Stationery, and it comes with a black fabric spine. Now I do believe they do have a few more color options. I don't carry this in my shop, but this is for my notes. So I'm not gonna show. Let me see. Can I show? Sure. Yeah, I can show this page. I was just making a list of the pen shows and the ones that I would try to hit in 2023. I think Chicago is a must, but I don't know about Washington or San Francisco, just because they are quite a bit far from me, and I'm not sure about transportation and like hauling all these notebooks and inks and whatever. So it just becomes a little bit of I don't know, like logistic nightmare for me. It's something I haven't done, but if I don't do it, I'll never learn. This is another notebook from Apuntes. Again, so far we've seen 3 of the same brand. Now this is a very limited edition that they did with Casa Gutierrez Nájera, and I believe in Mexico. So I believe that company designed the cover, which is beautiful. I love the colors. But this is not something I carry in my shop. So at first I was using it for, I don't even know what I was using it. So I was like, let me just forget that. And I taped the pages together, and just continued using it for something else. And now it's like notes of things I'm learning or things I want to learn about. And I am very surprised that this paper was actually pretty good with my fountain pens. Now, I am gonna say that this other one, although it's the same paper, it really wasn't. There are some spots where I'm like, what's going on? So I don't like to explicitly say that the paper is fountain pen friendly, because I've learned that it's like hit or miss. Like here, I have a list of history books to read in ballpoint, and then behind it, I wrote with a medium fountain pen, and you can see It's not just ghosting. I don't mind ghosting, but there's a tiny bit, just very tiny bit of bleeding or bleed through. So here I just wrote a spread, which I like how it like went down. There's no feathering. Um, it was pretty nice. And you know, after that happened, I was like, I don't mind it. It's for me. I don't care. But then also here, I was asked by my friends to marry them to officiate their ceremony. So I was doing a lot of research about that. And I used my fountain pens here. And this red is a fountain pen, and that didn't seem to go through. So I wonder if it was the ink here that I used. Because yeah, even this black portion, I think that's fountain pen, and this is ballpoint. And that seemed to do okay. I mean, you know, there's a little, that red, you see there's a little bit of bleeding again, but anyway. So anyway, I learned that the paper can be hit or miss, but I love that it actually worked out pretty well in this notebook. And I like to show both of them when I'm in front of people, just because I don't want to disappoint them, or I don't want to sell them something that they're not going to be happy with. So I love these notes, by the way. If you follow, what is his name on Instagram here? MNML Scholar on Instagram. I grabbed his like note tips on how he, when he's reading a book, how he also goes in his book and annotates his notes and whatever, which I found very helpful. I love his Instagram. I love how he organizes his thoughts. So go check him out. And here I used blue fountain pen ink and an orange fountain pen ink, if I'm not mistaken. What ink was that? Must have been like that Sailor Gentle apricot, if I'm not mistaken. And there's no bleed through here. There's very little ghosting, very little, like none almost. And it did okay. And here again, this is a blue fountain pen ink that I used, if I'm not mistaken, with the Laban medium pen, and it did okay. It was, again, just like, you know, in a way like normal or just minimal ghosting. Here I just, you know, that was me. But yeah, this looks wonderful, and I'm very happy with how this notebook is behaving. Of course, the last time I wrote in here was when Life Kit, How to Make Journaling Work for You. I think this was 2020, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't think I've touched this in 2021, nor this year, but this notebook just lives on my desk in hopes that I will pick it up soon. Alrighty, this next notebook is from a Mexican brand called La Libreteria, which could like loosely translate to the notebookery. So this is roughly an A5 size. And what's really cool about these notebooks is that the covers are in this wonderful material. I think they call it soft touch, but it just feels absolutely buttery. It feels so good. And these came in a set of 4 notebooks. So they're all this slim size. And they each have a gradient, but like a different gradient design. So if I'm not mistaken, I think I kept this one and I gave the other 3 away to 3 different people just so they could like try it out. But anyway, this is again another one of my like notebooks to sample in the store. It was mainly for me, but I was like, well, I may as well just like take it for people to try it out. So I wrote in pencil here. If I'm not mistaken, I think I used one of the pencils in my shop, which is the Unimina flat pencils. I'll see if I can put a picture. Which was pretty fun. I loved it. I enjoyed the experience, and the paper just is wonderful. Here's some people writing stuff. I don't know who that was. And here I was using, I forget if this was like Monarca Nopal or Manglar. I was just using a fountain pen. Now, this is one of the test pages that at the Chicago Pen Show people were using. And this double broad sig, I think they told me that they were using a private reserve ink, and that was just too much for my little paper to handle. Now this ink, this is my Sailor Shishikura Autumn Leaves with Spicy Chipotle. So that did pretty okay. As you can see, there's like no bleed through or ghosting. But now, what is this? This is a very dark blue, very nice. Now this is Monarca Cenote, if I'm not mistaken, because that's what I had at my desk at the Chicago Pen Show. And that was a very little, just a tad bit heavy on my paper. Now what is this ink? Why is that doing that? This must have been like a diamine ink, and you can already see like the line is bigger than I'm used to. I think this looks like a stub. I should write these things down, people. If you're writing, put down here like what you're using and what the ink is. I do that for my other notebook, but this one I guess I was like, man, I don't really care. I'm just trying to test it out. But now I really care because I want to like know what the heck I did. But anyway, yeah, this, you can see the paper was just struggling a little bit. But I think it's the combination of the heavy ink and the very wide line. Now this looks like a medium, and if I'm not mistaken, this is Monarca Tierra Colorada, and that looks beautiful. There's no feathering. I like this paper a lot. If somebody asks me for fountain pen friendly paper notebooks in my shop, I would direct them to this brand, and specifically with the dotted pages, because even though they use the same page to print lined or graph pages, the dotted pages for some reason perform way better than the other two. I don't know if it's the printing or what is going on, but it was pretty interesting. And now this is Monarca Cielo Cruel on both pages. And again, it was a medium nib and it did pretty well. So, and even here, the page before is at Tierra Colorada. And there's no, well, if I can get to the page, there's no ghosting or bleed through or nothing. It did phenomenal. So I was really happy with that. So yeah, that's that notebook. Just super cute. I love the design. It's super fun. So yeah, this also lives on my desk. Here we're getting to what I really wanted to show you, which is so these two notebooks are by the same brand. They are called Mr. Rouge, and they have a very interesting story on their website. I think both the owners or partners, and they met in, if I'm not mistaken, they met in France, at one of the like bookbinding schools, if I'm not mistaken. I may be making a lot of this up, but anyway, I forget like the origin of their name, why Mr. Rouge, and then they have a fish as their logo. But if you go to their website, I'm sure you'll find more of that information. So this here is their what they call their l'artiste, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's L''artiste with an E at the end, like the artist. So this is meant to be a sketchbook or like a field journal, or and I have this I'm gonna keep this one for myself in an attempt to actually get back into like urban sketching and whatever, and documenting whatever I need to document. And there are actually a lot of pages in here. It comes with a little pocket. Oh, here's that branding, Mr. Rouge. Yeah. So they were founded in Mexico in 2012, and they've been doing wonderful. So yeah, this is gonna be my own, probably just to urban sketch. I think this paper is too absorbent to handle watercolors. But maybe it'll be for pencil, like coloring pencils, for me, or just very loose watercolors, if any. So that is that notebook. And then the last notebook I want to show you is this guy. And this right here, it's again by Mr. Rouge, and they call it the Voyager. This I have. I'm glad this is mine because now I got it. Like, I've been carrying it around quite a bit to show people, and it's handling it pretty well. Now, something I forgot to mention about this notebook and the one previous to it is that the leather smells amazing. And they're not using like a premium leather, so some of them you will see a bit of like the scars or like where just like natural, I guess, imperfections in the leather. So here you can see a little bit of striation and just, yeah. So, but it's also pretty affordable. Like this notebook, if I'm not mistaken, it's $20 or 26. And you get a ton of pages. Can you believe that? So these are dotted pages, dotted interiors, and it lays flat. Look at that. Sorry. And it smells amazing. So I've been using, again, I was at the Chicago pension, and I was like, I really need to show these people how the paper works. And I was also very curious myself. And again, somebody went in with this like double broad, and that one was like, it's a lot for me to take. And what ink was this? Oh, I think this was a rollerball, which is an oil-based ink, if I'm not mistaken. And that one did show quite a bit. You can see right here. So it doesn't like rollerballs as much. It'll take pencil, ballpoint, and medium to smaller nibs. So this is a medium nib, and this is again Tierra Colorada. There is no ghosting, sorry, there is no feathering. So the paper does handle that pretty well. But there's minimal ghosting, just like very subtle. It's actually kind of pleasing how it looks. And again, I haven't used this a lot. Just, I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I need to use my journal for like a specific purpose and it needs to be perfect. That's the kind of person I am. And so I have a ton of notebooks that are just waiting for me, honestly. And I should just start writing because I just ordered a bunch of these. And can you imagine like a library full of like these notebooks, like 10 of these? I think that would be lovely. I did have one person who requested 2 of each color because they come in this color, like a slightly darker medium color, and then a black color. So she requested 2 of each from me. So these have been pretty popular in the shop, and I can see why. I mean, you get a ton of pages. It's a beautiful book, and you know, it looks great on your desk. So yeah, that's it, friends. Those are my random notebooks on my desk, that, you know, like, why wouldn't I show you all what lives on my desk and why they do. So yeah, I hope to start using them more often. And you know what, use your notebooks. I've learned that, not from personal experience, but I have heard and read that paper can go bad, especially in like humid areas. So use your paper. There's always more notebooks, and you will be very, very satisfied when you flip through at the end of your notebook journey to see all those pages filled with notes and drawings and marks and just whatever. So thank you, friends, for joining me on this random video about my random notebooks on my desk. I hope to catch you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.